Ciao, ciao, दोस्तों. Good evening. And Ajay Menon here, AM Talk Sport पे आप लोग हैं, and I'm joined by Shubham. What's up, Shubham? How's it
Hey
going?
man, what's up? What's up? Going
Why
great,
don't you?
man. Just super excited for the Euros, Copa America, and obviously India winning the World Cup. So it's like just everything is sky high. Super excited, and obviously the
बढ़िया.
parade happening tomorrow. So that's
मैं
also a
वही
thing.
पूछने वाला था. वही पूछने वाला था. Before you introduce us, तू कल जाने वाला parade में.
Uh, I think yes. Let me see how the day goes. But hopefully it's like Thursday to Friday or Saturday. So obviously there have been more easier. But I'm assuming there will be a lot of people coming in compared to what it happened in 2007, 2011.
Absolutely.
Kafi crowded hoga. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, already you can see people sharing stuff
बिल्कुल,
and
बिल्कुल. Three people
excited.
have joined the stream. Football with Biku. Ciao, ciao. Good evening. Thanks for joining in. So, Shubham, I want you to probably introduce you. I'm going to give the floor to you. तू बता लोगों को what do you do and what has been your journey so far.
Yeah, so guys, hi, what's up? I mean, currently, right now, I'm working at KKR. I'm managing the social media channels for them, and it was a great season. It was my very first season, and we won the title in the very first season. And previous to that, I was managing the social channels for Rajasthan Royals. So pretty much into cricket, football, kabaddi. Previous that, I was into pro kabaddi where I was managing Tabang Delhi, and obviously a diehard Chelsea fan. Obviously, I'm not wearing Chelsea jersey because it's time for India now. But once the season is on, it will be all Chelsea, and then obviously a big fan of Indian football as well. Supporter, don't get to watch much these days with all the work, but yeah, always been there for Indian football. And yeah, Chelsea Euros, rooting for Portugal this time because of that one man, Ronaldo. So you never know. If things go well, it will be all Ronaldo, and then he might retire. And if things don't, then it might be the same case. So yeah,
True, true.
Portugal and Copa America, Brazil, hoping that Brazil edge this time. They haven't done it for few years, but yeah, let's hope for Brazil. So yeah,
बढ़िया बढ़िया पीयूष भाई ciao hello भुटिया भाई आया निशान भाई hello so we'll get your thoughts on all the three tournaments, three being Euro 2024, Copa America, and of course अपना World Cup that just concluded. And I think the boys are on the way. I think एक चैनल है जो ट्रैक कर रहा है उनका जो फ्लाइट का स्टेटस है ना. There
Hmm.
is a channel which is tracking their flight status
Okay,
because
okay,
Air India sent a chartered aircraft. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
ये
I read that. Yeah.
न्यू जर्सी टू दिल्ली का फ्लाइट था ओरिजिनली.
Uh,
And that is now being rerouted,
okay,
for the cricket team. But yeah,
okay.
what are your thoughts on the Euro 2024 so far? अभी group stage का तो ठीक है, but round of 16, you pretty much had the favorites go through, the slight favorites, barring I would say Turkey because Austria काफी लोगों का dark horse था
Absolutely.
tournament में.
Yeah.
But what do you make of the performances of the big teams, so called, likes of Spain, Germany, France, and England,
Okay.
and even
So
Portugal, and even Portugal?
yeah. So I think you mentioned Spain, Germany. I think both the performances have been top notch. I think they've deserved it. The top players, and they've got some upcoming top talents. Both of them, Yamal on Spanish side, Marco Kurela left back, and then we have on Germany Jamal Musiala. So all top players. I think Germany and Spain are pretty much sorted. So I
Yeah,
think pretty much happy with how they have done. Uh, for me, the two teams that have disappointed definitely have been France and England because of how they have played. France definitely has just what one penalty goal itself. Most of two goals they have scored and one
yeah.
penalty goal and two of them like being all own
Own
goals.
goals.
So there's too much expected from France with all the things that has happened post World Cup, Euro finals, and World Cup losing the World Cup final. So
Hmm.
they have been probably the most consistent team in Europe. Then I feel there's so much France can offer, and I think for me, it's they have got that lineup. It's just that they're not able to click together. Mbappe especially, he has to stand out. I don't know, maybe it has been Madrid or what happened with PSG during the brink end of the season, or but yeah, I mean, but with all that said, this is probably the time for the French team to click,
Hmm.
and that's going to be a tie to watch. And like I mentioned, I'll be rooting for Portugal this time with how Portugal have done so far this tournament. Couple of games, yeah, they won and they lost one game at the end, and obviously the last game against Slovenia, we all know what
Yeah,
happened. So
before
like,
before we get into Portugal, I want to ask you a question because तू चेल्सी फैन है and obviously तूने ओलिवर जिरू का कैरियर काफी क्लोज क्वार्टर्स में देखा हुआ है. Do you think it makes sense to start Giroud because वैसे भी इन लोग they're not scoring. Maybe he is your old and this tournament you've seen the old school number nines actually doing well. भले वो फुलक्रूग हो या मार्टिन एडम हो. So do you think अगर जिरू को डाले because अभी Deschamps is going with Marcus Thuram
Kolam
with
and
so
Kolomuani as a
correct,
substitute.
correct. Either one of the two. So, do you think Giroud is the perfect foil so that maybe the French attack can actually start scoring likes of Mbappe, even because they have won tournaments together, they have won a lot of games together, and Giroud is their all-time top scorer. So, क्या लगता है तुमको?
So I think now that we are in a zone where you're facing a top team, you can't. I personally feel that Deschamps wouldn't want to make any changes to that squad, bearing one or two. So even if he wants to try Giroud, probably what happened in the final, like he had substituted Dembele and Giroud just at the
Right.
brink of halftime. So if that's the case, then maybe he can start Giroud. But I still feel he should stick to the current side. And then if things are not working, let's say if Portugal are leading with Ronaldo or Bernardo Silva and even scoring, then you can throw in Giroud. I mean, obviously he has to throw it, but at this
Yeah.
point, I still feel it's better for you to play around those players. You can have always have Kolo Muani, you can have Marcus Thuram, and he has been great with Inter. And then you have Griezmann dropping, Kante is doing well. Mbappe, I think it's for more of Giroud, it's more of Mbappe to come and click. If he gets just one chance against Portugal, he has to score it, not like the ones that he had already got. So he can't miss that. There's a lot of expectations from him. So Giroud probably, I think I'm second to that to for him to start. But if the things are not going uh, well for France, then definitely he has to come on and do his magic.
मेक सेंस भाई मेक सेंस थोड़े मैं कमेंट्स देता हूँ मेरे को लगता नहीं कि तुम यू आर अ मेसी हेटर पर से यू माइट बी अ रोनाल्डो फैन ऑब्वियसली बट हेट इज टू स्ट्रॉन्ग अ वर्ड
Obviously
यार
not. Yeah,
सो
obviously
आई
not
हैव
the age.
निशांत क्वेश्चन सो दिस इज इन जनरल जो काफी लोग को लगता है कि भाई एक तो एज है of Ronaldo and Pepe, but what have you made about Portugal's performance so far? Because since you're rooting for them, you are closely watching them. क्या लगता है?
Hmm.
How have Portugal been so far according to you?
I think bearing the game against Georgia, where they have fielded a second string team, they were
Yeah,
pretty good. Turkey, it was quite dominant, and they were doing good. I saw one comment which mentioned, "Do you think Pepe and Portugal are holding back Portugal?" There were a lot of such tweets and fans replying, "Ki, are
yeah,
they holding them back?" I personally don't think so. How this is how I look at it. So when you are at the top stage, you always need one or two elite players, players at the top level who can just have that one opportunity and who can separate the scoreline. Like if it's a Ronaldo, he gets one header. It's a very bang average game, and he gets one chance and he scores the game and wins it for you.
right,
Same with Pepe.
right.
You have to make that one tackle in that game. You have made a mistake and he does it. I mean, what happened in the game in the last game against Slovenia? That was one mistake from Pepe. And then
Yeah,
for Ronaldo, yes, obviously he's at the brink end of his career, 39-year-old. A lot of expectations are there, but yes, there were chances for him which he could have converted, and I think he's going to come back stronger in the next game. Definitely, that's how it has been. I mean, if you would have put Goncalo Ramos, probably the game would have been gone in a different way. You could have now everyone's looking at Ronaldo, just pass the ball to Ronaldo and he's going to score it. But then it's just that one opportunity that Ronaldo needs to get over the line. Probably if you look at the other players, they might need more, only 5 or 6 opportunities and then they
yeah,
score. But if it comes to Ronaldo, then he scores and then there's nothing coming back.
yeah.
So whatever happened in that game, I think it was one bad game for Portugal, for Pepe and Ronaldo. But I think they are going to get over it, and France is going to be a perfect game to get over it. Because I feel if at this point you fiddle in a second string team to them like Slovakia, Slovenia, or Austria or Turkey, then probably I would have said that it wouldn't have been much easier. But now that they know they're already against the top defenders like Saliba, Kunde, Ronaldo is going to be against them, and Pepe has to face the likes of Mbappe, Griezmann, Colomboani. So it's going to be a different mind game altogether. So Portugal, with all that experience they've got, and with all the creativity in the midfield of uh, Bernardo Silva, you got Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha has been fantastic. So I think definitely not holding back, but I think that's going to be a pretty game. I just hope that Portugal will go over the line, but it's going to be pretty tough, and I don't want it to be a boring game. Definitely not like
मैं
France
predictions
scoring.
predictions predictions
Yeah.
पे आऊंगा, but एक
Okay.
question है
Okay.
फुटबॉल होगा. What about a right back issue? I think João Cancelo is playing. Filal, I mean, he is. I would say his best position is at left back or right footer है वो, but inverted full back. But what do you make of this issue?
I think he's doing pretty well. It's just that I feel he's being overrun for the last 3 4 games. He's just pushing himself too much. So they have already got a great option in Diego Dallo, and he's been fantastic for
हाँ, डालो तो है ही.
United. So it's for me it would be better if against a team like France, if they can field in like a three centre backs, and then you put in a João Cancelo, then it becomes easier because then you have a Dallo, a Pepe, or even Antonio Silva, or who's the other one, Francisco Conceição, or you have Ruben Diaz. You can field three of them because
Yeah.
these players have played in a three defensive format, and then if they play in a three centre back, it will be much easier for them to stop the likes of Mbappe. Because now, if you have just two centre backs and one of them is Pepe, who's probably not the quickest, if
Hmm.
it goes past him, then already you all have João Cancelo, who's already high up on the pitch. There's Nuno Mendes, who's on that side, who's a great defender, one of the best young fullbacks, and one of the best in Europe right now. So for me, it would be better if they field three at the back, and then you can put João Cancelo at right back. Then it's going to be alarming for France because then they have to make sure that Mbappe doesn't just go too high. He also has to drop deep, and left back Theo Hernandez has to be pretty much careful. So I mean, João Cancelo definitely has been one of the best fullbacks, but they have options of Diego Dallo if things are not working for them.
One player who has disappointed me obviously is since I watch, I'm a Serie A fan, तो मैं उसको देखता हूँ week in week out is Rafael Leao, where he's not lived up to all the hype. Actually, थोड़ा time के लिए, even the last half of the season, he's been a bit off for Milan. He's not coming off, I would say best run of games, but so far he's been disappointing. यार क्या लगता है तुझे? Do you think he needs to be
Yeah, I mean,
dropped?
2 seasons back, I remember him being linked to Chelsea for like 150 million euros and all. I was like, yeah, I mean, who's
है
this player?
बंदे में talent potential
He
तो
has
है.
the talent, he has the pace, everything. And if you look at the last game, he created like two or three some really good chances. He has the pace, he has everything. But before that, if you go against, I think the game against Turkey and the first game, I think they could he could have been better. I feel probably looking at his performances, it would be good for the coach to start Roberto Martinez to start someone like Joe Felix above him because this is a
Hmm.
game where you just can't have someone running at defenders, and I
Yeah.
mean you can just cut in inward and outward and just shoot. It will be much tougher. You're going to face Kunde. You're not going to face some other right
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So this is a game I feel probably Rafael Leao can come on in the second half and be more impactful because he has that pace. Once probably if Portugal managed to score in the first 60 minutes, then Rafael Leao coming and impacting will be more much better for Portugal compared to him starting and then making those errors. Because at this point, if you see Ronaldo, he's not the best creative player. It's Bernardo Silva and Bruno Fernandes who are making it up. So
Right.
everyone is supplying it to Ronaldo. So that left side person has also to make sure that they are supplying to him for him to make the best finish. So he just can't be like a replica of Ronaldo. You can just cut inwards and shoot, or just run towards the defenders and miss the ball. So there were glimpses of him in the last game, but I think with all that said, I still feel that Roberto Martinez is paying his trust in both Ronaldo and Rafael Leo as of now. Ronaldo definitely can't be dropped as of now,
Obviously.
but
Obviously.
if you have to sacrifice one to make that attack better, then it has to be Rafael Leo on that side. So probably for me,
Huh?
Joao Felix comes in, and I'm actually been I'm shocked at why he hasn't even started. Like he just played one game, which is the one against Georgia, so he could have been utilized more. Francisco Fonseca obviously scored that goal at the end, so he was utilized. But I feel it's also about the options that you have. Maybe Joao Felix can start above Rafael for the next game,
Yeah,
considering
and
how France are going to set up.
another question from football is Biku, why not Diogo Jota? Because again, option to hai attack pe at left wing.
See, great option, definitely. But I still feel Diego Jota for me might be suited more in the number 10 to forward role. Okay. So if let's say we start Joe Felix at left, and then you can have Jota coming on at 60, and then you can actually substitute Bernardo Silva also, because last game he looked tired. He was just going there. He was going till the D, and he was trying to head it over. So I mean, you can the manager can play around, but Jota definitely is like a super sub. As of now, I still feel Joao Felix can be tried, considering he has the creativity to just get through the lines between the channels and supply to Ronaldo. But with that said, Jota definitely one of the great options. So with all that said, Jota and Joao Felix are slightly above Rafael Leao. But again, it depends on how Martinez would like to shape. And I think most of the team looks pretty much sorted apart from the left wing, because you can't drop Bruno Fernandes. He's your creator from the center. He's the one who's going to also take some free kicks. He's going to shoot from the center. Bernardo Silva in the right looks good, but I still feel, I mean, not the best position. I still feel he's more suited from the middle. That's how Man City have been utilizing him, from the middle and then moving towards the right. Uh, so let's see. I mean, definitely not a right winger, Bernardo Silva, but yeah, he's the most important playmaker in that team. So he has to be there. So if he's on that side, then you need one person like a Jota or Joao Felix on that side. So it's a tough call for Martinez, but yeah, hopefully he's going to take the best one.
ठीक है भाई. Before I get to three quick rapid fire questions and your predictions, एक निशान का question एकदम बढ़िया. Why are free kicks on the decline, and what happened to free kick takers like Pirlo, Totti, Beckham, Del Piero? Is it because of the change in football philosophy, like doing more short passes? क्या लगता है तेरे को शुभम? Like if you just answer quickly.
I think, I mean, honestly, what the first thing that comes to my mind is like probably they're not much focused on free kicks.
मेरे को भी वही लगता है.
It's more possession based football. Now, if you look at
Yeah,
Guardiola, if you look at the series, the treble winning series that came on Netflix, he's
yeah,
just giving tactics to every player on how to pass the ball, how what you have to do in this position. Everything is there.
yeah.
I rarely saw anything about set pieces and all. And in fact, coming to set pieces, this season only, this Brentford's Christian Cueva, some set piece coach that
Yeah.
Chelsea have hired for set pieces, because they feel that
Correct.
we have not been so good in set pieces and we have conceded X number of goals. And this is where we need to improve. So teams have started realizing it. It's just that ultimately it's about winning. I mean, 1-0, you play good possession based football. If the fans like it, then it's good. Free kick is like just one of it. But
Hmm.
the quality of the players these days, they're not focused more on those free kicks. They're more focused on that creativity between the channels, how you can just
Yeah.
have great pace and burst around the corner and then drop in a cross and then score. So it's overall with the mentality of the players, how they can just work on it. So it's more about the practice that they'll have to do.
And I think it's also, like you mentioned, Joe, the coaches want quick free kicks. They want those kind of like, tactical setups, because क्या है कि more or less, I think, even with the game evolving, direct free kicks का थोड़ा, I would say, has gone out of vogue. And मतलब निशांत has missed out one of my favorite all-time free kick takers, Juninho. वो तो बंदा पागल आदमी था यार. वो तो कहाँ से भी फ्री किक मारता था वो. उसके लिए फ्री किक पेनल्टी के बराबर था. बट सरिया में अगर आप देखोगे ना, तो रोमा में तो यू हैव डिबाला एंड पेलेग्रिनी हु स्टिल attempt to take free kicks. UAB, you have Blahovic, who's pretty good at in the dead ball situations. But overall, हाँ थोड़ा decline तो हुआ है. And I think it is just the way that modern football is evolving more than anything else. And I remember reading कि पहले players used to stay back after training sessions and practice free kicks. Like Perlo
Free
used to
kicks.
do that. Yeah, after training, but I don't think so. आजकल वो होता है. आजकल
Yeah,
वो
true, true. I haven't
एक
noticed much of
जॉब
that. Yeah.
जैसे हो गया कि लोग आते हैं ट्रेनिंग करके चले जाते हैं लोग. So
Yeah, I mean, it's more about creating those sweet chances and then scoring. That's what the fans like to see. But yeah, I mean,
correct.
it's also a thing like we have had the likes of Lampard and Gerrard over the years. have
Yeah,
taken
yeah,
some
yeah,
great free kicks, and now still we have Ronaldo and Messi.
yeah, yeah.
They have
Last
not gone, but
pretty much
yeah,
the
they have
last
already there. But yeah, I
two
mean,
of the
the focus
generation.
has just moved out of free kicks. It's been just create better and then score.
Four people still on the stream, guys. So आप comment डालते रहो. We'll be answering all your questions. एक quick rapid fire करना है शुभम. Whatever comes in your
Yeah,
mind
yeah,
first.
yeah.
Or the Euros, the player who's impressed you the most so far.
Just one, or can I
This one,
name a
this one,
couple more?
the top.
Jamal Musiala.
Perfect. The team that has impressed you the best so far.
Spain has to be Spain because I wasn't expecting Spain to just be so creative, and some of the players have just done so well. Like Marc Cucurella at Chelsea was not even the first choice left back, and now he's like the best left back at the Euros. So some of the players have just blossomed so well. I think Spain has been one of the most impressive teams.
The team that has disappointed you the most.
Has to be England. Except that Jude Bellingham bicycle that happened, it was like watching England was like no one can predict which is that player that is going to. It's Ivan Tony or it's is it going to be Watkins? There's so many people on the bench, but you still can't predict which player comes on when and which position. So unpredictable and definitely disappointing. But yeah, hopefully they have got easier route of fixtures is what I would say. So their
Yeah,
chances of being in the semi-final and finals are much easier compared to the other teams.
yeah, yeah. And the coach that has impressed you so far.
Mm, Coach has been. I think it has to be the Austria coach,
Ralf Rangnick.
Ralf Rangnick. Yeah, definitely. I mean, how he was before, and what people used to call him, and now just he's
अरे
got
वो
that
तो
Austria.
यार मैन यूनाइटेड के टाइम में you can't judge anyone. Yeah, the club is, I mean, until now, I think till that Ineos takeover, they were under turmoil. So, वो pretty much, you can't judge anyone from the time at Man United. वो दो तीन लास्ट जितने भी साल से है तो. But yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
was a
absolutely. That makes sense.
surprise result that
But
Turkey actually.
if David Alaba would have been there in that team, then I would have. I think with his
David
leadership,
Alaba
definitely
result
they
तो
would have gone
definitely फर्क पड़ता था.
to. I mean, they went on to defeat Netherlands, and
Yeah,
Netherlands finished third in that group. So that's one thing I actually wanted to tell. If you see 2016 Portugal Euro story, so
yeah,
Portugal also finished third in the group, and they
correct,
didn't win a single game. Same with
right.
Netherlands. So they have finished third, and they have got a very good chance of not just playing the semi-finals, probably against England, but also to be in the final. So that's a
Absolutely.
great chance for Netherlands this time. So and with the performance yesterday, they look strong for me as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Football with Beku Yamal for him as impressive. यार मेरे को ये जवाल एंड यमाल बहुत इतना slip of the tongue होता है ना जवाल Musiala and
Jamal
Lamine
Musiala.
Yamal. Yeah, but Nishan guys, Musiala or Kai Havertz who will fill Thomas Muller's shoes.
I think position wise, though, definitely it looks more of Havertz because he's in that number 10 or first line role. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, future wise, I would say Jamal Musiala is going to be that person who's going to be like Muller in this very first World Cup won what the young player of the year or something.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he has that opportunity to win that and probably win more accolades with Germany. And what perfect better time than Musiala winning the Euros in Germany, playing in Germany, his very first Euro. So
absolutely, absolutely.
Musiala definitely, but
Do
Havertz
you
is a
think
great player too.
do you think Yamal can face the situation of Michael Owen? Obviously, Michael Owen started his career at 16, 17. That Argentina का against goal था क्या लगता है तुझे?
I think with how the things are going in modern football, there's too much of competition everywhere. Every other team has some or the other talent. I feel maybe not, but he just have to be there competitive. He has to have that attitude of how Ronaldo and Messi had in their early 20s, the teenage, and then just keep on going. I mean, don't just look. He's already at a great club like Barcelona. If he would have been at a second fiddle club and then he would have wanted a move to Barcelona for let's say 100 million pounds, and then he would have flopped. That would have been different story. He's already come from the ranks of Barcelona, and now he's pretty much well settled. He's Spanish. He's probably playing at one of the best clubs in
Yep,
Europe. So I don't think that would be, but yeah, he has to be there. He has to keep working. It just can't be like, no, he's a raw talent or something, and everyone wants him in the team. But yeah, he's a great talent. I don't think that's happening with him.
मिहिर हैज जॉइन मिहिर व्हाट्सअप यार तो मैं अभी शुभम के साथ
मतलब मेरे
प्रेडिक्शंस खेलने वाला हूं तुम लोग कमेंट्स में लिखो योर प्रेडिक्शंस ऑफ द क्वार्टर्स ऑफ यूरोस पहले यूरोस करते हैं नितिन इज आल्सो हियर भाई शुभम क्या लगता है सबसे सबसे पहले लेट्स स्टार्ट विद ऑब्वियसली पोर्चुगल फ्रांस व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज गोना हैपन देयर
I just hope that Portugal win, but I've got a feeling that probably France will exit. I think the best game would be the match goes to extra time, similar to what happened with Argentina, France in the World Cup final. That's how I'm hoping the game to go from a football fans' perspective. So
obviously
I think I'm going for Portugal this time. Portugal,
Oh, Portugal. So
Portugal, yeah.
amazing. So यार फ्रांस का तो वही है ना कि we really don't know how they're going to turn up if they actually
Exactly.
play to their potential. Yeah, I mean, fair enough, but
I
they haven't so
mean,
far.
yeah. That's the
Not,
only thing that's
yeah,
making me
not,
Portugal
not
up.
a
Or
bad
else
show.
if Mbappe and all would have been in great form, Kante definitely is the best player right now. But if he would have been in great form, Mbappe, then I would have said that man is just going to destroy the team. And it
Absolutely,
could have been just
absolutely,
1-2 nil easily. But Portugal for
absolutely.
me, yes.
Okay, what about the other one? The other, you can say clash of the Titans, Spain versus Germany.
I feel it's going to be probably the best game of the tournament. And
Going with Spain.
Germany Spain just reminds me of, I don't know, maybe Germany Spain or probably that semi-final team, whichever comes if Germany wins. 2006 semi-final, I guess. Italy versus Germany.
Italy versus
Germany
Germany.
were the team. Italy won 2-0. So
Oh,
I think it's Germany will win this game probably, but they might go on to lose to the winners of Portugal and France. I have got that feeling because it till that moment the fans will be in their side. Like we have seen that with Portugal in
yeah,
2004, they were in the final, they lost against Greece. But if things have to go wrong, then it might be just the Spanish game or the Portugal or France game. But I feel with all that said, it's going to be Germany. Germany are going to Egypt. This is not
lovely.
the game for Germany to be knocked out. I mean, playing at home.
Yeah, Germany को home advantage तो है for sure. They have that, but yeah, you never know. You never know. Sometimes
I think
I
that's
don't think.
that's a game I would have had more of a semi-final instead of a quarter-final because I feel
Ah,
that side of the bracket is much easier. So
correct,
it would have been easy if Spain would have come from this side or Germany would have come from that side.
lovely. Yeah,
So,
yeah. And
but
coming
one
to the
one of the
coming to
best
the
games.
other side of the bracket, you have England, Switzerland. क्या लगता
I
है? एक तो
think
इटली को हरा दिया, स्विट्जरलैंड ने क्या
England
लगता है? एक
definitely,
बार करेगा?
definitely England. This time England definitely because it's same was the case with France. I think France were leading 3-1 in 2021 Euros, and then they substituted a couple of their players and with all the attitude, "Nah, we are going to win it 3-1." They scored 2-3 all and then went on to lose in penalties. So England definitely have got a lesson after the last game. I don't think they are going to make a mistake now. Definitely this time, I guess England will pass through, and from the other game, it's going to be Netherlands for me.
नेदरलैंड्स तो इंग्लैंड नेदरलैंड्स सेमीफाइनल एंड वहां पे
And Germany, Portugal,
पोर्चुगल जर्मनी पोर्चुगल
semi-final.
बढ़िया
Yes, yes.
बढ़िया तो who do you think is going to win it all the way?
I'm being a Portugal fan. I think Portugal versus England is what I was just discussing with my friend the other day. So he was asking me, is there a chance that we can have a Portugal England final? I was like, yeah, there is. They're on the other side of the bracket because England, you know, all the Premier League star players, all those people who follow United, Chelsea, Arsenal, although everyone knows we have all those stars in there. It's just
Yeah,
about them clicking on that uh, day. So I
I
think after what happened to them in 2020, 21, anything below a final is an underachievement for them.
भाई
They deserve to be there.
पोर्चुगल इंग्लैंड है ना ब्रॉडकास्टर्स के लिए इट इज अ हेवन फॉर देम तू सोच क्या टीआरपी मिलेगा उनको मतलब दे कैन सेल यू नो एड स्पेस लाइक क्रेजी बिकॉज़ देयर बी सच अ ह्यूज तो जैसे
Absolutely.
पूरा इंग्लैंड तो है प्रीमियर लीग है पोर्चुगल में रोनाल्डो तो
And
भाई
all those
साहब
stars players right now. I mean, few years back, the Portuguese team you could still find 3 or 4 stars. Now it's that every other player is in the Premier League, someone is Porto, and now Diego Dallo's value is already raised up. Every team is getting
correct,
linked to
correct,
him. So
correct. It's a household name. I mean, there are no unknowns basically. Most of the guys are household.
Yeah, and national team also you can't predict which team is going to win because the players' intention, the passion is much more compared to at a club level. So
Correct,
they are going
correct.
to give their best. But Portugal, England is going to be a dream final for me. We'll
Correct.
come back
So
soon on this if this happens.
yeah, yeah, ये clip है ना मैं
And
बाद में clip
Portugal
कर.
to win. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think yeah, I think this is pretty much. Any last thoughts about the Euros? We'll move on to Copa America after this.
I think, yeah, I mean, at the start of the tournament, there were all memes floating that, the top goals are like own goals and own goals. I hope
Yeah,
at least from quarterfinals onwards, we don't see own goals, because it's like a defender like Calafiori scoring is like one of the topmost defenders, upcoming
yeah,
defenders.
yeah.
So everywhere like, last match में नेस्टा and ये match में एकदम कुछ अलग ही डेविड लुइस and all ऐसा सब random trolls were coming, but I think it shouldn't be like, it should be boring game. I would still like if the games that are coming are good defensive games where both teams are defending very well. That's how it's going to happen when you move to the latter stage. But yeah, I just hope it's not a boring game and just an own goal coming in and the other team gets disappointed.
Makes
I
sense.
hope it's
Makes sense.
not the case.
Makes
Same
sense. Makes sense.
happened with Belgium. I mean, Belgium had the opportunity, they missed it another second. It was just Colomani scoring it.
बेल्जियम का
So,
तो बात नहीं करते यार. लुकाकू would have been the top scorer अगर बाहर रहता नहीं था यार.
absolutely, man. And if they would have just he would have just scored, they would have qualified. It would have been easy for Chelsea to sell him for like 35 million is his release clause right now. Now it's like not even Napoli are offering like what 20, 15 or 20. I don't even know how the deal is going to.
वो
But yeah,
उतने में ही जाने वाला है because only Conte would be the only one that would be wanting Lukaku, and Lukaku doesn't want to go to Saudi. That is that so. मतलब
yeah,
Chelsea को
absolutely.
almost
And Chelsea have already one player in Napoli, which they have been trying, which all the African players, Drogba and Mikel, have been trying.
Victor
Osimhen,
Osimhen.
there's such a good deal that could happen. In fact, I
Yeah,
read that about a couple of days back. Let's see
हो जाएगा हो जाएगा मेरे
how
हिसाब से
that
तो
goes.
वही होगा तो I'll take some comments before we move to Copa America
Yep,
quickly.
yep.
Here, sadly, France will win. Uh, Nishant, why Serie A don't have? यार इसका सिंपल आंसर है कि Italian player, local players cost more and it's easier to get cheaper foreign talent. But full आंसर के लिए तो कैल्चो चर्चा में हम लोग बात करेंगे इसके बारे में. फुटबॉल विद बिकू फ्रांस जर्मनी एकदम ऑड है उधर ऑड एकदम इवन है उधर फ्रांस जर्मनी का निशान डू यू थिंक क्रिकेट इज मोर 1v1 rather than टीम स्पोर्ट लाइक फुटबॉल ये आखिरी में लेते हैं जब
ये
अपन
लास्ट में लेते हैं.
क्रिकेट का बात करेंगे फुटबॉल इज बिकॉज स्विट्जरलैंड को भी भाई अगर स्विट्जरलैंड जीत गया इट बी लाइक ग्रीस 2004
Yeah,
साउथगेट
absolutely, man. That would be one
साउथगेट
of the best stories.
जिंदाबाद Mihir answer kiya cricket more like tactical planning and more in game management. It's kind of like chess. Football with Biku Southgate is clueless. By Southgate का तो ठीक है यार. We'll anyways we'll move on to Copa America भाई. Copa America के quarters में you have Argentina, Ecuador on one side. Winner of that game is
Canada, yeah,
Colombia or Panama. Colombia being probably
yeah.
one of the informed teams in the world. और दूसरे
Hmm.
ब्रैकेट में you have Venezuela, who have been excellent, surprised me for sure, and Canada, and
Hmm.
Uruguay versus Brazil, which is probably the tie to watch out for.
No, I
Uh,
think it's going to be Argentina, Ecuador versus the winner of Argentina, Ecuador versus Venezuela, Canada. If I'm not wrong.
sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's the
It's the
case.
other way. So
Yeah.
Argentina, Ecuador versus either Venezuela, Canada वाला way.
So yeah, I mean here though definitely we all know who the tournament favorites are in the start. Argentina. After 2022 World Cup win, the team has just flown so high. Alexis McAllister, Enzo Fernandez, all those players, Montiel, everyone getting their. Emiliano Martinez, man, that guy just became a
Yeah,
legend. I mean,
so
the other day
Martinez.
Surya Kumar Yadav took the catch,
Isha
and then there
Martinez,
was
he
a
Emmy
meme of
Martinez.
Emiliano Martinez.
Emmy Martinez, हाँ.
Emiliano, yeah. So Surya Kumar took the catch, and everyone was making the memes of Emmy Martinez पे Surya
हाँ.
का माफ करके. So I mean, some of the players have just gone so better, and Di Maria has got a different life, I would say, in that Argentina team. Afterward, Real Madrid, everyone felt probably, he's on a decline, but he's just been fantastic with Argentina, and I think after the World Cup, that team is just performing well. Definitely the favorites, but I'm hoping it's not Argentina this time. I want Brazil to win it this time. But the performances of Brazil and how they, I think there was one. I'm not sure if that's the right source or something. Ronaldinho or someone said, the matches of Brazil are not so entertaining. And then Rafinha had commented on that and said, okay, I've heard about it, but the other day, I got to know he wanted some tickets for the Brazil
फ्री
game.
टिकट चाहिए था उसको,
So
हाँ।
yeah,
ये वो तो उसका पूनम पांडे वाला स्टंट था उसका। वो तो मैं बोला ही नहीं यार, बट या ब्राजील की बात करते थोड़ा, दे हैव बीन वेरी अंडरवेलमिंग, एंड उरुग्वाई अंडर बियल्सा हैव बीन monsters. But Bielsa का ना, मैंने जितना Bielsa का करियर देखा with his teams,
mm,
when it comes to winning those crunch games, they always choke. Sadly, तुझे
yeah,
क्या लगता है? This is the game of the round, Brazil Uruguay. Uh, Obviously, Brazil में you have Vinicius who's not there, who's suspended.
that's not for the
But
game.
क्या
Yeah,
लगता है? What's going to happen in that game?
I think to be honest, amongst all the quarterfinal ties, this is definitely going to be the toughest one.
Yeah,
I hope that I'm hoping that Brazil somehow go past Uruguay, because if they are not able to win it, then obviously it is all comes down to what's happening with the Brazilian national team. There will be some of the players sacking, a lot of things. I would sense a lot of negativity if Brazil loses. But if Uruguay loses a very close game to Brazil, I don't think that's going to impact them, because they have those crop of players coming up. Yes, they've got Suarez back and multiple other players. So I think they are still going to do well with the younger generation of players. But Brazil, there's so much expectation. I mean, they can probably field in a second team and still go on to win that Copa America. But are they going to do it even with the first team? The answer is no. With the way they are setting it up, they've got immense talent. It's probably four or five the same players who are in the Real Madrid side who play a different ball game altogether,
yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah,
same people come in over here, and then it feels like, it's all charisma, it's all style, it's all dribbling, it's everything coming together and not working out. And some of the players obviously had some ego issues, and obviously what happened with Paqueta, and then Bruno Guimaraes being one of the upcoming players, Rodrigo there at the front, Vinicius. They have that talent, and some of the players are already sitting out. Gabriel Jesus is not there,
yeah,
Firmino is not there. So they have got that squad. It's just that it is not clicking together. Marquinhos, I still feel, is one of the best centre backs in Europe right now, but probably it's just not working out. Him being at PSG, the PSG captain, and then we have Adam Militao, who has had his injury and then he's coming back
yeah,
again. So probably for me, it could have this this Copa America could have been one where they could have utilized Thiago Silva with all the experience he has got. Him being the leader, probably him not even playing, but him being in that role of leadership that David Alaba had with Austria.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that could have been one thing that they could have tried, because it's just too many young players. I mean, I saw in the one of the friendlies of Spain, Endrick was there. He's debuting them and he scored a goal. So there's too much pressure on the players who are in their mid 20s and late 20s. You have to also perform in the young crop is coming. So there's a lot of issues I feel that's happening, but it's about time. If not Uruguay, I think, when are you guys going to win it? Like 2018, 2022 World Cup was a disappointing one for them after them getting knocked out against
yeah.
Croatia. That was
Croatia,
a game
yeah,
where everyone felt that they were the best side and they were just too complacent. I mean, like, what? It's so what? It's Croatia. It's one of the best teams, and we could actually feel that when we look at the words of Thiago Silva post game, that we actually didn't even thought that Croatia are going to come this strong at us. So they need to start respecting the opponents. It's not Uruguay with just one or two players. It's an entire nation. It's 11 players who are going to come stronger. It's not going to be easy. So something that Argentina definitely knows, they're going to go all out in their games, but Brazil still hasn't got there. But if they go
वो
past Uruguay, then I think
तो है,
it's
yeah.
going to be
तो
all
तेरे
a
हिसाब से अर्जेंटीना ऑल द वे, राइट? कोपा
100%.
अमेरिका,
Argentina. I mean, I don't see if they have to lose, then it has to be some special from one of the
या
players. Kendry Paz is one of the top players, so it has to be something special. But again, they haven't got a top center backs or a back line that can stop the Argentina attack. So Argentina from that side, and this side, if it's one of Uruguay and Brazil, definitely. So I'm hoping it's Argentina versus Brazil, because then I think the match clashes with the Euro final also. So let's say if that's Portugal versus
भाई
England,
too
then it
much,
will be
too
in the
या
same night. It will be Argentina
अर्जेंटीना,
Brazil. So that's going to
भाई
be a great
मतलब
game.
उस दिन बिलियन पीपल would be watching the TV, like more than a billion people. Obviously, football तो सब लोग देखते हैं. अपने अपने देश में मेरे हिसाब से 1 बिलियन लोग बैठ के देखेंगे.
बिल्कुल
At least one.
देखने वाले. Absolutely, yeah,
हाँ,
absolutely.
भाई.
Yeah, I
So
mean
we'll take
Argentina,
we'll take
Brazil,
some.
but hoping that Brazil wins it this time.
It'll be good. It'll be good because अर्जेंटीना का थोड़ा डोमिनेशन कुछ ज्यादा ही हो गया उनका. कोपा
Yeah,
भी जीते और वर्ल्ड कप भी जीते.
too much, too much.
They won the finalism also against Italy, though. ठीक है. I mean, it'll be and I would be happy if even Uruguay win it because Bielsa is Bielsa. यार. He's been
Absolutely, man.
extremely brilliant. तो उसको एक इंटरनेशनल ट्रॉफी आएगा तो थोड़ा उसको he'll get that trophy that he deserves. Very similar story to Gasparini. Gasparini was a very provincial coach Italy में और यूरोपा लीग जीता तो एटलीस्ट he's got the trophy next to his coaching badges now. तो एक ऑनर आ गया उसको. But yeah, it'll be interesting है कोपा में. मेरे हिसाब से कोपा गेम्स have been good. Like I think कौन कौन था यहाँ पे who was talking about Colombia? Yeah, football with Biku. Colombia seemed like underdog. Colombia have been very good. Yeah, they've been
Definitely.
excellent,
I think they
excellent.
are going to be definitely the other semi-finalists. So it all depends
Yeah,
on how it goes. But yeah,
yeah.
like
James also यार ये
just like
James
Euros, it's going to be tough.
कोलंबिया का जर्सी जब पहनते तो हमें से एक अलग प्लेयर बन
Yeah,
जाता.
absolutely. Uh, That's what I said sometime back, right? When the players don their national jerseys, they are a different ball players altogether compared to what they do for the club. Because for club, you have to play like what 40, 50 games throughout the year,
Yeah,
and you have to be consistent to win the league. For national team, it's like hardly 1 or 2 months. You have to be consistent. Yes, they haven't practiced much together, which you can obviously see with the likes of England how things are not working for
yeah.
them. But again, if you look at the game of
Oh,
Argentina, how just they have come together and everyone has started peaking. Every player has
correct,
just blossomed so well. So yeah, I mean, it's the players are just doing so well for the national
correct,
team. And
correct.
happy to see someone like James Rodriguez do so well.
Correct. Mihir bhai बोल रहे Argentina is winning it all. Football with Picuna, Uruguay will win Copa. I hope that also happens. I am a neutral fan in Copa, so I would want Uruguay to win it. Udit Anshu भाई बोल रहे हैं पूछ रहे अजय भाई any thoughts on Calafiori as I've not watched the games of Italy. What's his profile? Udit Anshu मैंने एक वीडियो बनाया मेरे वीडियोस के लिस्ट में जहाँ I've given Calafiori's journey so far because obviously just to sum it up quickly, he started out with Roma as he's a local Romanista like Francesco Totti, De Rossi, Pellegrini, Florenzi, so
Lovely.
many local Romans. Broke his leg when he was 16. Both his legs in a very nasty injury. So he was out for a year and a half rehab. So he lost his age group between 16 to 18. Came back, but into the Primavera team, the youth team, broke into the first team. Played under Jose Mourinho. Roma lost a game against Bodo Glimt 6-1, where Calafiori was starting. And Jose Mourinho pretty much sold that entire team who was playing. That it was the bench किया था, उसने rotate किया था, second team players थे. तो but obviously 6-1 was a very heavy defeat. No one saw it coming. तो जितने भी second team players है सबको जोजे ने बेचा. Calafiori को FC Basel में बेचा 1 million में. And FC Basel sold him back to Bologna for 4 billion. So Calafiori profile पूछा था उदितांशु तो with Roma he started off as a left back. Again very good with the ball, scored a fantastic goal in the Europa League. तो Google कर YouTube कर Calafiori goal Roma Europa League, fantastic. उसने half volley मारा था उसने सीधा top corner पे. तो started off as a very attacking fullback, but when he came back to Italy with Bologna, Thiago Motta, his manager, made वो थोड़ा एक role change हुआ. And I will take your question with Nishan's question about Arsenal. If Calafiori वो तो ठीक है 100 million, but मेरे हिसाब से Calafiori will be playing in the same role what Guardiola plays for Man City. Guardiola is a centre back, but
Center
plays
back
in that.
and
Yeah,
left
तो
back
मेरे
role, yeah.
हिसाब से बिल्कुल. So Arteta is going to
Absolutely.
pretty much imitate that
Perfect.
with Calafiori if Arsenal sign Calafiori, that is.
That would be a great addition. I mean, for
Very,
me,
very great.
Calafiori, like you mentioned, he's being linked to Juventus and most recently Arsenal and Chelsea. Arsenal slightly being above. So
Yeah,
I just hope that if we can just pip Arsenal to Calafiori, then what better? We've got a great left-footed centre back who can just be deployed in that Guardiola role.
absolutely. जहाँ पे भी he ends up, which I hope that he doesn't end up in Italy with UA, obviously being
Yeah,
a Roma.
looks likely
I hope he ends
as per
up
the
abroad
latest
and
updates of
he,
Fabrizio. Because
correct.
Bologna don't prefer, and yeah.
He deserves that move to the Premier League. I hope it happens and he does well.
But
And eventually,
if it's Arsenal, then Arsenal are going to be too strong for me because
yeah,
the way
yeah,
they've
yeah.
set
I
up with
think,
Gabriel Magalas and the other one,
yeah,
William Saliba. Now, if that you
yeah.
put that Calafiori on the left side, you can play a three back when you're playing a strong
Yeah,
team, and when you're
बहुत
attacking, you
बहुत
will
strong,
go with two centre backs.
बहुत
But
बहुत strong.
I still feel right now. I mean, obviously being a Chelsea fan, it's easy to say, but he'll probably do well, much better than the Chelsea because we need those players at this point. So Califeri, if he comes in, then it's a direct replacement for someone like a Bernard Badeshir or Disasi. So one of them has to go out if Califeri comes in.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. Madhudista Rohit is in the chat. I noticed one thing: Pepe, Sergio Ramos, Virat Kohli, Ronaldo are aggressive at early stage, and they become calm and mature with old. Yeah, I mean, it does. Obviously, age does play a role. मेरे हिसाब से तो these are absolute goats of the game. मतलब you put Sergio Ramos, Kohli, Ronaldo, they know how good they are at their prime. I think with age, it does that maturity does kick in eventually. David Warner is a prime example. Yep, yep, that's also true. Cricket, पे अपन we're just now moving towards cricket, so we'll talk in detail about cricket. Pavel, what is the logic of Copa semi-final? Argentina can face that. TRP बस यही है इनको टीवी. They want Argentina Brazil in the final potentially. So that is, in short, the answer. And it's an invitational tournament. They can really fix it the way that they want. CONMEBOL, CONCACAF दोनों है इसमें. Yeah. आलू बिरयानी मुझे मिस किया है कि हाँ भाई, वेलकम वेलकम.
It's been
मिस तो
Argentina
करते
so
हैं हम लोग.
aggressive, especially against Australia and England.
When Virat
Yeah,
Kohli
we are
was
coming
captain.
to cricket.
Yeah, yeah,
We are coming
yeah,
to
yeah.
cricket.
Bhai, Virat Kohli as captain of India was something else, and now when he's a player under Rohit, it's something else. But so good to see. I mean, I think this is a good way to segue to cricket. मेरे को ना that moment when we won the final, everyone was in tears. From Dravid, हार्दिक पांड्या, रोहित, विराट. बट वो एक वीडियो तो नहीं देखा कि जब रोहित खड़ा है
Mhm.
ड्रेसिंग रूम में, कोहली आता है
Um,
एंड दे आर, ओ माय गॉड,
oh, yeah,
एब्सोल्युटली ब्रिलियंट.
absolutely. Goosebumps.
क्या what how did you feel? Where were you watching the final?
I was home only. So initially, I was planning to go for a screening, but then I was like, no. I was like quite superstitious. Screening and all. Whenever I've gone, most of the top games screenings over the years into football and cricket, especially wearing the jersey, I've seen that my team has lost. In fact, most of the games that I've gone on to watch in the stadium, winning wearing the jersey and their pride से कि आज तो जीत के आने वाले हैं. So things haven't turned on. In fact, 2016 semi-final at Wankhede, which was there in
Yeah,
India, this
yeah,
was one of the games that I went पूरे चौड़ से कि आज तो जीतना ही है, Sunday final खेलने वाले हैं. And then there was shocker. I still don't remember how I got back home. I was with my bro. So I mean, we all have been through that phase. Ki every time team used to come to the semi-finals and finals, the semi-finals and finals, and obviously when the final started, I would say that we were like hoping कि कोहली तो आज खेलना ही है. आप पूरे टूर्नामेंट नहीं खेले, आज खेलना ही है. Similar to what happened to
absolutely.
Dhoni in
Yeah,
2011 and Gambhir playing we scored what 75 in 2007 World Cup final. So
yeah,
expected था कि one of the openers definitely has to play. So Kohli scoring, and obviously he didn't play at a good strike rate. His strike rate was just over 100, but at the end of this innings, he just smashed a couple of sixes and fours, and then he got to 76. So I think that was a great innings. We needed that perfect fair of someone like Virat Kohli in his
yeah,
final game. 76, and I mean it will be just remembered forever, like one of the best games. I would say this is so much similar to how it was in 2007. We didn't
yeah,
have a great. I mean, that time we like 157. Now it was 176. But yes, now how we have seen over the years, teams batting second have just preferred it, and they could have won it without the South Africa
they,
batted,
they
and
could
obviously
easily won
now
it भाई. वो पांच पांच ओवर में they required run a ball, so and
30,
with
30
Hasan.
balls, 30. And I remember at that time, just so I'm quite superstitious when it comes to India games. So this, like, you can see this jersey is the 2023 World Cup jersey. So this time purposely I didn't bought the jersey. I think I'd messaged you also. How, are you liking the jersey or not? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's good. बट आई वाज लाइक नहीं, आज ये सीजन तो जर्सी लेना ही नहीं है, 2023 के ही जर्सी को हम 24 का अच्छा वो पॉजिटिव वाइब दिखाएंगे.
utilize.
तो इवन ड्यूरिंग द फाइनल डे व्हेन द मैच स्टार्टेड आई वाज लाइक कि ब्लिंकिट पे मिल रहा है, ले लेते हैं, 10 मिनट में आ जाएगा. इट वाज दैट क्लोज. आई वाज अबाउट टू बाय द जर्सी. आई वाज वेयरिंग दिस जर्सी in the first half. I mean, once we got the couple of wickets were down, Rohit was out, then Rishabh went for zero, and then Surya also got out. So I was like, मैंने पहना था and I just removed my jersey. I was like, नहीं, आज नहीं. I removed that jersey and I was like, it's okay. I mean, ultimately it's about the team. So I kept the jersey aside, and then Virat stood up, and then the partnership built up between him and Dubey, and then obviously him and Akshar, and then obviously
Yeah,
Dubey coming. Akshar out of nowhere, you
out of
expect him to
nowhere.
perform with the
7,
ball, and he scored what, like 49.
yeah,
He
47.
conceded 49, 47, and Kuldeep 45 or 49. So similar, and then he performs with the pass. He was this close from a 50. So I mean, hats off to the batting unit. Obviously, if we wouldn't have gone to 176, then this would have been
This
all
could have been,
over.
yeah,
Yeah,
bilkul,
obviously there
bilkul.
was hope with how we bowled against Pakistan, but that was a different pitch. That was US. But this is a
Bilkul.
final, man. And when you have finishers like Miller and Klassen, then you need to have a good score. So
Absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely. We have 9 people still on the stream, and just to अगर आप नए नए आए हो, just to give you a heads up, Shubham has been working in cricket. He's currently working with KKR in their social media. Previously, he's worked with Rajasthan Royals also. So cricket, he watches cricket much more closely than anyone from behind the scenes, at the scenes. And मेरे हिसाब से तो इस साल जो भी मैच केकेआर का मैच तो देखने, वैसे भी केकेआर तो जीती आईपीएल, बट whichever games you went to stadium, they always won, right?
yeah. I think when I went for the Mumbai game, I went for the Delhi game. We have won it. Yeah. So
And
that's the case,
and
definitely. I
eventually
mean,
win the trophy
I was
also.
like कि yeah, ट्रॉफी तो जीतना ही है भाई. इस बार ऐसा था
भाई
कि nothing
शाहरुख
better.
has to acknowledge the fact कि तू आया and जब भी तू आया केकेआर जीती.
Yeah, same goes with Gambhir. I mean, obviously, like the first video that we had made of our training was Gambhir saying that when 26th of May we'll be there. At that time, people were not aware that 26th May is going to be the final. The date wasn't officially declared, but
Yeah,
inside coaches obviously know it. So that clip we had put up in the final. Finally we are in the final after we beat Hyderabad in the qualifier one. So those things, yeah. I mean, great time, yeah. KKR, and then definitely India winning it, and even before that, Jai Shah announcing in the ceremony that in 29 को हम बारबाडोस में तिरंगा लहराएंगे रोहित शर्मा की कप्तानी
yes,
में. Everything was announced after what happened in the World Cup final last year. A lot of people are expecting probably Rohit will be dropped, Virat will be dropped. We'll need a young crop of players. Yes, it's just 7 months down the line, but we'll need a young crop of players, probably a new captain. I mean, for fans it's easy, but to implement that it takes time. It just can't be like
correct,
बोल दिया तुमने कोहली come strike rate पे तो खेल लो, but you always need players who can just keep the game going. So they were definitely here no matter what, and I would have personally, as a fan, would have hoped that they could have stayed for at least probably they would have played more games and then got uh, probably a farewell in any of the India games. But yeah, I mean, with all that said, winning the T20 World Cup and ending on a high note, scoring
5
76,
months और क्या चाहिए?
perfect for Rohit and
Perfect,
Virat
perfect.
and Jadeja,
Rohit, Virat,
everything.
Chandu, and Dravid.
Yeah, yeah. I just hope it could have been more set up, like all three of them announcing it, like this is our last game, and that video going viral. So
Yeah,
Virat announced, and then Rohit in the presser, he told, "Yeah, मेरा भी last game था," and then Jadeja the next day.
Instagram,
Sometimes
yeah.
it's just how you place it is very important. Like Kohli's timing was much better, but yeah, I think as a fan, someone who's worked closely with uh, in sports, I think it was perfect for all three of them to retire.
बढ़िया, बढ़िया. तो थोड़ा अपन कमेंट्स देके आगे बढ़ेंगे. I have a question with regards to Gautam Gambhir and India. But before that, we'll quickly take some comments. Krish Narula, Shubman Gill is the captain right now against Zimbabwe. And do you think Ruturaj would have been a better choice? क्या बोलते हैं? What do you think, Shubham?
Uh, so sorry, can you go again?
Uh,
Ruturaj, yeah.
so Shubman is the captain now against Zimbabwe. The
Mm-hmm.
T20 is starting.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
Krish बोल रहा है कि probably Ruturaj would have been a better choice as captain.
I mean, like Shubman, with all the performances that he's had over the last course of 2 years, I think it's good that we are giving the captaincy to Shubman. Let's try and test how things are working, and then come to a conclusion. So let him just go to a tour to Zimbabwe. Obviously, it's going to be a one-sided one, to be honest. With all the
Yeah,
with all due respect to Zimbabwe, but yeah, we need to set it up for the next generation. We need to decide who's going to be the captain. In fact, uh, Shreyas, with all the heroics with KKR,
yeah,
is also one person who might not just get into the second fiddle team as of now, but he has a great chance to be in that squad and
yeah,
probably lead the team. So there are multiple contenders, Bumrah, Hardik, and everyone being there. But
yeah.
yes, obviously you should look at the likes of Shubman Gill and Ruturaj for the future when these guys decide to step down. So I think as of now, Shubman Gill definitely is a good option. Ruturaj, I still feel has a lot to prove with CSK. Like next season, probably if he does well with CSK as a captain, when Dhoni steps out, that's
Yeah,
going to be the real challenge for him. So then maybe if he helps CSK to be in the top four and then probably win the title, then Ruturaj will be in a state to be in that
makes sense.
contention. But yeah, he's definitely there in that role. But Shubman for me is a good choice as of now.
Makes sense. Madhilsta Rohit, I remember David Warner run out, AB de Villiers. Ah, ये तो again this was when way back when I think again David
Hmm.
Warner was a more aggressive person. वो थोड़ा भी cool down हो गया है. Australians and sledging are always a good pair. Football with Bikku गिल का ज्यादा entertain में ध्यान नहीं यार मतलब ठीक है वो थोड़ा बहुत मस्ती करता है बट आई थिंक शुभमन इज वेरी वेरी केपेबल वो टेस्ट सीरीज में उसने दिखा दिया जो इंग्लैंड के अगेंस्ट था ही
Absolutely,
शोड लॉट ऑफ
absolutely,
मैच्योरिटी in that. Bhutia
absolutely.
69, when we won, I was in tears. I wasn't in tears, I was just in a different silent zone. Then it hit me and made me emotional. Amazing, amazing, yeah. I think everyone experienced this. मेरा भी वैसे ही था. Even for me, it was more of a sense of relief. Because finally, they have won it. Um, like when I remember 2011, so we were celebrating. हम लोग it was मैंने post भी किया था कि it was Holi, Diwali, Independence Day all coming together. वैसा celebration था. मैं गाड़ी वाड़ी
Ah,
निकाला तो मतलब गुलाल
absolutely.
मैडनेस था बट ये है ना थोड़ा लिटरली रिलीफ था कि फाइनली वी वन इट प्रॉबब्ली
Yeah.
लाइक
I
विराट
mean,
कोहली एंड डेविड वार्नर इवन आई हैव एज्ड तो वो वाइल्ड सेलिब्रेशन तो नहीं था बट सो हैप्पी एंड रिलीफ दैट कि
absolutely. After that Champions Trophy, and everyone was like, uh, last trophy भी हमने कप धोनी के कैप्टनसी में जीता था. I mean,
2013
हाँ 2013 Champions Trophy, and that also went like into 20 overs due to rain.
या
So then it's just 2014 final against Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. We didn't bat well. 2016 semi-final, but then obviously
वेस्ट इंडीज
2019, West Indies, and then 2019
न्यूजीलैंड
World Cup semi-final, New Zealand. Everyone knows what happened, and then 2021. That was a tournament that I would like to forget because we didn't qualify.
सीरियसली
Pakistan beat us.
या
The hype was there because it was just we were just in that mid lockdown zone. Everyone was excited. No, Pakistan को हराना है ये वो. And then 22, great tournament, one bad game, one-sided game won by England. And 23 final, so definitely one. It's a heartbreaking one. Like no one expected. Like final में आके dominating team. Everything that this team did, that team definitely deserved.
या
The likes of Shreya Shayer missed out on this one. There was Shami, Mohammad Shami to definitely deserve one. He got
डिजर्व
injured
इट
during this one. So if he would have been fit, he could have been part of this squad, probably ahead of someone like a Siraj.
या
So
या
I mean, yeah, I mean that's how it is. It was meant to be an T20 World Cup, us winning, and I just hope that it's just not. It's just the start of something, an era of Indian football, Indian cricket, where we are going to win a lot of trophies, starting from 2025 with the World Test Championship, then the Champions Trophy, and then we'll have 2026 में the World Cup in India only.
Yeah,
India and Sri Lanka. That would be a great time again with this young crop of players that we are deciding. The next 2 years with a different coach coming in is going to be a great platform, and Indian cricket will just go above from here. And obviously, I'm above all, I'm most excited for that 2027 World Cup South Africa, which I believe is going to be the last one for the ultimate king Virat Kohli, and I
correct.
hope this time we go out over the line. So yeah,
Absolutely.
we just as a fan, we've just thought so much about it with all the heartbreaks that we have had. Like I mentioned,
Yeah,
the semi-finals, finals, we deserved it. Like we just deserved it. I mean, obviously at 30 was 30, the chances were like 95% South Africa
yeah.
and five.
South Africa.
That's the thing. But I mean, that's how cricket is. That's how any sport is. It's not
Right.
over until it's over. So we kept faith,
Absolutely.
and what a
Absolutely.
time here.
मधुलिका
Indian
रोहित
fans.
ऑस्ट्रेलिया को नॉकआउट करने के लिए दो टीम को यार हाँ वो तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया को नॉकआउट करने के लिए इट्स स्वीट अफगानिस्तान बांग्लादेश का मैच है ना पूरा इंडिया बैठ के देख रहा था बिकॉज वी वांटेड अफगानिस्तान टू गो थ्रू एंड नॉक
Absolutely.
ऑस्ट्रेलिया आउट इट्स जस्ट हाउ इट इज
I
मैन
mean,
ऑजीज और ऑजीज
them getting knocked out was so good for all the Indian fans कि अभी फाइनल में ऑस्ट्रेलिया तो नहीं है तो वो पैक
ठीक है
कमेंट्स वही हीट नहीं आएगा वही सब
बिल्कुल
वापस नहीं आने वाले एक हाँ एक मैच हुआ तो खेला हीट ने ट्रेविस हीट ऑलवेज प्लेज अगेंस्ट टीम्स नेम्ड इंडियंस मुंबई इंडियंस अगेंस्ट खेलता था वो ये वो तो ठीक है बट आई मीन अभी नहीं है भाई अभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया का वो टेंशन नहीं है नाउ द
हाँ
अदर फियर वाज कि इंग्लैंड का क्या England are already
या
there they beat us in 2022 but then this was a perfect time to beat them like
या
every
या
there was a one post that was done was like for every 169 for 0 there's a 103 all out
या
we defeated
एब्सोल्युटली
them and that was
एब्सोल्युटली
one sided game so I think after Australia got knocked out after we beat England one sided it was all set man I mean I can just I mean, if I just go back and what if Klassen was never dismissed to Hardik Pandya, it would have been so disheartening
भाई
for
एक
all
और
fans.
चैप्टर
We could have just
बीटीएस
lost.
ऐड हो जाता है
I saw some of the fans like people were just sharing content like तीन दिन तक non-stop content share किया obviously after winning, but before that also every other person who was not even following was like आज अगर इंडिया जीतता नहीं है probably then maybe we'll stop watching cricket and there are actually people who do that. So I was like, नहीं यार ये heartbreak नहीं है because for me the bigger heartbreak was Virat and Rohit would have retired without
विदाउट या
Rohit. Obviously, he has won it,
या
but Virat, with all the legacy, he's all the
या
gold thing that he has established over the years, without a World Cup, तो वो तो possible नहीं था यार मतलब जीतना ही था. It was all
एब्सोल्युटली
written, and from
एब्सोल्युटली
nowhere things happened in the last 5 years.
Absolutely. Yeah. Krish bhai, this was my first World Cup year after 2015. I didn't buy a jersey, and from now on, तो you can use Shubham's tactic कि वो जब हो जाएगा ना टूर्नामेंट तब
उसके
खरीद
बाद
ले
जैसे खरीदना.
एंड
Yeah.
जस्ट हेड्स अप सस्ते में मिलते जर्सी अभी ये जो मैंने पहना है ये दिस इज द T20 21 वाला किट इफ आई एम नॉट 22 वाला किट
22.
22 का ये मैंने Adidas स्टोर में लिया एक 1799 का जो ये 5000 का था पहले ये मैंने कुछ ही महीने पहले मैंने जब ये नया आया था ना T20 वाला द
Hmm.
लेटेस्ट वन तब आई
हाँ,
गॉट दिस
this one.
1799 एट Adidas बेलापुर बिकॉज मैं
Yeah.
बेलापुर में आता हूँ मीटिंग के लिए तो वहां पे
Okay.
सस्ते में मिलते तो
And
अगर
I
आप
think what Adidas did last year, from a marketing perspective, also fantastic, man. 1,000 rupees jersey, and people already buy. You used to buying 500, 600 first copies and player edition
या
jerseys. That was
फर्स्ट ये
great move by
फैन
Adidas. I've read some articles on that. That's such a great thing. So
आई
after this jersey, it was expected that there will be a jersey, a different fan jersey. Obviously, from a fan perspective, I would say the fan jersey wasn't much resonating with the main jersey. People didn't like it, but at the end of the day, it's an official jersey. So you don
करेक्ट
it, and you could see the blue sea everywhere with people wearing those same jerseys. Like it's affordable in India. Like it's easy
या
anywhere. It's available on Blinkit and Swiggy, Instamart. 15
करेक्ट
minutes you can get.
यू
And
कैन गेट इट
previously it used to be you go to the store, you have to search on the website and all. So I think
या
so that is also one thing that instills the belief in a fan. Jersey पहना है तो अभी देखने का I'm more interested into it. I've had few of my friends who like after wearing the jersey, after they bought it, they feel more inclined towards watching that sport, even if they are not. So I think that's a great thing, and we should keep on doing that. Like how football fans have been over the years, 600, 700, may buy a first copy jersey and then
Yeah.
just keep buying every year, home away third, home away third. Cricket fans obviously are not used to that home away third thing, but yeah, that's been a thing for us over the years. So yeah, I mean,
Next, next, next दो question तेरे लिए शुभम. Is Rinku funny even face to face in real life?
yeah, I mean, I would say he's funny. He's just so good with everything. I mean, you can just go to him, you can talk to him. As a fan, also there are so many people around him. So he's a funny character. He's energetic. Whenever it's about cricket, he's just cricket, and whenever it's about having fun, people are having lunch, dinner together. It's chill stuff. So yeah, he's a great face. But yeah, when it comes to cricket, he's just so much focused. Like he just wants to be there, and he wanted to be a part of this team. Yes, he was disappointed, but yeah, he he always says that one thing that has been trending for the last few months: God's plan, God's plan. Always say कि there's a bigger God's plan. So bigger God's
Yeah,
plan was KKR winning. Last year him scoring those five sixes and then KKR winning
yeah.
it now. And then obviously him not being a part of that setup, but he was there in that bench role, and he's going to be there in the coming months. So things are going to come for him. He's pretty young. So yeah, he's a great person, man.
We all love Rinku Bhaiya. यार. He is one of the I would say one of the best characters to have around in Indian cricket. And like you said, bright future तो है ही उसका यार. फुटबॉल विद बिकू शुभम. भैया आपके एडिटिंग टीम में कौन कौन है, लाइक वीडियो एड्स?
काफी लोग हैं. There's a big team that does all the edits. There's a big team that travels. So काफी कुछ है.
But
Yeah.
but this Rohit, I personally feel bad for David Miller. He's devastated like ABD. And David Miller ने I don't think so उसने announce किया retirement. I think वो
No, I
क्या
think
हुआ?
Quinton de Kock. I saw one thing of Quinton de Kock is moving out, but in that one of the posters, Quinton de Kock का कुछ था नहीं. Has he retired or something? Because there was few of the posters everyone's talking
Peacock,
about their return. De Kock
Peacock I
said
think
कि
is
I'm
retired.
T20 say yeah. David
Yeah,
Miller
yeah, yeah.
hasn't definitely.
Yeah,
But
David
there
Miller has it.
wasn't a compiled post of all the players who
हाँ,
have retired. I didn't saw de Kock in that, so I'm not sure. Because obviously the limelight was towards Kohli,
right.
Jadeja, and Rohit. But yeah, I mean, I would say if this could have been David Miller of 2022 when he won the final with Gujarat Titans, they could have just won it 2 overs back. He just
Yeah,
didn't look in touch. He wasn't probably in his best touch in the entire tournament. Klassen, if
yeah,
he would have been there, the match would have been over 2 3 overs back on itself. So
pretty much.
one good thing was he was just keeping himself in the game, like how Josh Butler after that chase against KKR said, "Ki always be in the game like how Kohli, Dhoni's and the big players have been, and you wait for your moment." So Miller has been there, and he has done that. But this time, obviously, if that six would have gone over the ropes, then probably he would have pulled it off. But hopefully, as an
Yeah.
Indian fan, but I still feel he wasn't there. He lacked confidence. I don't know what's going on in there with the South African team. But
Hmm.
as a finisher, there were two best players, and one of them gone. The other one could have just finished it with the
Yeah,
score.
या भुटिया भाई, आपने वो रोहित वाली वीडियो भी डाली थी क्या, मुंबई वाली? कौन सी वाली?
स्किप करते हो एक है वीडियो रोहित का.
अच्छा. As an Indian, I don't want to face South Africa in the final because, yeah, वो तो है because मैंने वो वीडियो देखा कि fans after the game they were actually cheering the South Africa team. So that was quite good to see. That we love South Africa. So
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
absolutely. That's been a thing. Like when you win the tournament, the fans are obviously going to applaud the other team. That's how it has been. But had India lost it, it had been just opposite. I'm thinking of it that way. It's easy for us to win it and as fans to say, "Bhai, तुमने भी बहुत अच्छा खेला." But
yeah,
were you going to be there if India had lost it? I mean, I could already imagine कि कोहली और रोहित पे कितना pressure होता for retirement if we would have
बिल्कुल,
lost it, and how the
बिल्कुल.
fans would have behaved. There have been very small set of fans who would have said, "Yes, you guys made us proud, you deserved it, but we'll be there someday, and
Yeah,
we'll win it for you guys." So वो भी होता, but I mean that has going to take place. Like even if it would
Yeah,
have been us against Australia in 2020, we would have won it. We would have done the same thing. Sabah
yeah,
Talibat well played Australia.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
deserved
yeah.
it to be there. So that's an easier route for me. But yeah, for me as a fan, you should be more inclined. What if your team loses? Are you going to support them? If the question is yes and yes, then definitely you should stick with the team when the team
Makes sense.
wins and loses. Well.
Makes sense. डेविड मिलर सेइंग टू आईसीसी टीम प्लीज यार ये तो
Don't
ठीक ही है
worry.
अभी मिलर मिलर तो है अभी मतलब तो टेंशन मत ले मदर सर
Yeah,
ही विल बी देयर
I mean, Miller, South Africa definitely going into the final. I think it was their first final, if I'm not wrong. They've not been in any final. Semi-finals are 99 ka. Then most of them they've been in semi-finals only. So they have come so far. So which means they'll be there soon. Them and New Zealand are probably the next competitors. So I'll hope that one of them wins one of the ICC tournaments soon because those teams definitely deserve to.
दे डिजर्व टू विन एटलीस्ट
South Africa especially of about how they have been since that 1999 World Cup thrashing
आई
from nowhere. They just lost it. I think that was just Australia. Some of the games that Australia has won the World Cup, they have been just so lucky with one or two games. Like 2023 World Cup, had they lost against Afghanistan, it could have been a different ball
या
game altogether. Probably they wouldn't have qualified. Someone else would have had the chance, and Afghanistan would have won their last game and they could have qualified. So
करेक्ट
that those things have just worked so well for Australia. Some individual brilliances. I think there was one question. Do you think previously? Do you think cricket is more of a 1v1
या
game
या
versus football? So yeah, I mean,
करेक्ट
I would say yes and no both because yes because Virat Kohli can score 100 and take the team past the 200 like somewhere close to 200 like we saw in the final. But if the entire team flops, then
या
there will be question raised. Like you could see that Kuldeep didn't bowl well, and Akshar Patel didn't bowl well. 47,
या
49 runs conceded. But Bumrah
या
bowled well, Arshdeep bowled well, and they won the game. So
करेक्ट
individual brilliances definitely matter more in cricket. Football, I feel it's more of a team game because then there, if let's say you're playing against a prime Messi, you have multiple players to defend against him. They know ki you have to defend against a Messi. You need to have a plan. You need to stop him so that you can stop the players around him scoring. So that's more of a team game. But with all that said, I think even if one player clicks and the other player doesn't perform, then it just can't be that one player gets the credit. Ultimately, it's the entire team that wins because the tournament was started by Rohit Sharma, Surya. Everyone played it. It was the final that was carried by Kohli. So, but yeah,
एब्सोल्युटली
the answer to your question, 1v1. It's cricket is more 1v1, where individual players can win you the matches. We have some great examples. Afghanistan game 200. Maxwell he won the game. Individual
सिंगल
brilliance. He just stood up there with all the issues, with all the cramps, with all the injuries that he had. He won the game. Travis Head in the final. He was there. He was struggling, but he was just sticking there. He was sticking there.
या
He was just
या
one whisker away from getting dismissed by Bumrah and Shami. But had that wicket gone, I believe that at that point, no one thought that Travis Head is going to be talked so much 7 8 months down the line. At that point, if I thought if this we get this man, we're going to get the word, and we didn't got him, and we don't know what the result was. So yeah, individual brilliances matter more.
फेयर इनफ ये तो मतलब खड़ा हुआ है हुआ वो वाला बीप इंडियन फुटबॉल वाला यार मैंने क्वालिफाई तो वो इंडियन फुटबॉल के बारे में मैं क्या बोलूं अगर उसके बारे में अपन स्टार्ट
Twen-
करेंगे शो तो एक एक पार्ट ही निकालना पड़ेगा इंडियन फुटबॉल के बारे में बात करेंगे तो
twen-
लेट्स नॉट इट्स अ
yeah, I
चिल
mean,
फ्री डोंट वांट टू गेट
2026, yeah, 2026 is the next World Cup. We have not qualified definitely. 2030 and ideally, I feel that 2034 is going to be where when we are definitely going to qualify. Who is going to be a bigger tournament by the I think 2026 is going to be 48 teams, right? If I'm
या
not wrong.
या
I'm hoping by the time it's 2034, it will be more than that. It will be probably 50 plus. It will be a bigger tournament, probably 2.5 3 months, and something like it was there in Qatar in the winters, similar to that. That would be a great time. I mean, mid break and everyone looking towards the World Cup. We got the best of what we wanted, and it was one of the best finals. I mean, generally you're used to watching it in June, July,
या
but I still feel that somewhere down the line the football calendar might just change. probably when it's 2030 or 34. And 34, I think realistically, I would say ki, I just hope that we'll be there, we'll be qualifying there because some of the games that we have had recently, yes, we haven't been great, and what happened with Ego's team at recently, but the quality is going to improve, man. Everyone is like, we need to just build that culture. Like India
Yeah,
winning the World Cup now, everyone will not just talk about cricket. Everyone will like, we will have Kohlis and Rohit Sharmas in football and in other sports as well. So
yeah,
we
yeah,
will by that time develop as a country into sports. So for me, that one aim that I want to be like, one of the things that I love working in sport is that we always hope that we are going to be that sporting nation soon. We're just not going to be cricket, and the other sports definitely we are good in. I've been always watching all other sports. I haven't been like cricket देख लिया तो cricket football को favor नहीं किया, but it has been all neutral for me. But India is soon going to be like a sporting nation one day, and we all hope that is going to come soon.
yeah. ABD plus plus David Miller, painful, underrated. Fair enough. Football with देखो in future आपको contact करूँगा about job regarding video editing. But this sort of Kane Williamson equal to Harry Kane. यार वो भी एक अलग ही comparison है, but ठीक है. I think it's a matter of time before Harry Kane at least wins the trophy, in my opinion.
I mean, imagine
Uh,
if this year, if it's the year of hurricane after all those draws, England went on to win it. It would be so
could
good.
happen.
He
Could
was
happen.
this close. He was this close in 2021, and even in this, which was 22 World Cup, he missed the penalty. If I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah,
He skied
yeah,
high
yeah,
France.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was a great
yeah.
game. If you knock out France, you're in that final, man.
You're
Then
there.
you just have to beat Morocco, and you're already placing. So that's the difference. Like just one or two misses, and it just costs you for a
Yeah,
lifetime, and then probably you don't get chances.
yeah. Bhutia 69 for Sadak. Yeah, ये सेमी बार इंडिया न्यूजीलैंड था 2000 नहीं 2000
Hey,
पता
this was the
हाँ
other one. I think talking about the one in Australia. We lost to Australia. We
and
were Australia won the toss. They scored 300 plus. Aaron Finch scored
yeah,
a very. I think Aaron Finch or David, one of them scored really well,
yeah, yeah,
and we couldn't chase. We lost by a good run margin. And again, I remember that was a time 2015 onwards when everyone was like, "Dhoni आगे बचाएगा, Dhoni आगे
yeah,
बचाएगा."
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
those that it was that era. But yeah, I mean, yeah, every time South Africa loses a game in a semi-final or a final, everyone goes back to that 2015 key. They deserved it that time. They also deserved it this time. But that was a great team.
Last couple of questions before we wrap up the live. Ronaldo carried Portugal in his entire career. Yeah, ये ठीक ही है.
Absolutely.
I think
I
this
think,
is
yeah, I
this.
would say yes because what better time for him to retire in his last Euros? I mean, he's obviously said
Yeah,
his last Euros, but I'm
yeah,
just hoping that even if let's say Portugal get knocked out against France on Friday, I'm just hoping that just 2 years, just कर लो खुद को extend that FIFA World Cup when it comes in what 2 years down the line, 2026.
26 US में.
That Portuguese team is going to be much better. They'll be much more
Yeah,
blossom. You will have a better Vitinha. They will be more realistically compared to the 2018 and 2022 World Cup. So if he can just end up on a high in this Euros, which I believe has to be the winner of Euros, nothing less than that. But even if it's like a semi-final or quarter-final, he just has to extend. He has to keep playing with El Nassr for next 2 years, and then he has to be in that squad. Same coach, give it time, and 2 years might just pass, man. Like 2025 will just come, and you're just 1 year away, and then one footballing season, and we got the World Cup. So,
makes
I mean,
sense.
yeah, Portugal definitely he has carried Portugal for these years. Yeah, it's time for Portugal to win it, and it was already proved in the last game with Diego
Absolutely, man.
Dalot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Madhista, Rohit, teams like Rohit, Australia. हाँ ये इंग्लैंड का तो है. See, eventually the quality does come through. It doesn't matter how you win. It matters, if you win or not. And BBC will not troll Harry Kane because British है. They will not troll Harry Kane in anything. But शुभम भाई, last couple of questions अगर जिसको भी क्वेश्चन पूछना है, we'll take your questions and we'll wrap up the stream. I want to ask you before we end the stream about Gautam Gambhir coming to India, most likely going to become the head coach. And since you worked with him very closely last year, You worked with him closely last 1 year. What are your thoughts? मैंने just before you go ahead मैंने ये predict किया था, मैंने जब वीडियो भी शेयर किया तेरे साथ में, वो वाला कि I foresee Gambhir becoming a coach. This was way before even there was talk about Gambhir coming in, and Shreyas Iyer captaining at least the white ball team, the ODI team for sure. So what are your thoughts on
I
the
mean,
GG
uh,
becoming the
I mean,
coach?
absolutely. I haven't like you mentioned working closely with Gaming. I haven't got much of the opportunity, but yeah, I mean, it's been around. He's been around for a while, and from whatever I've noticed, he's so particular with it. Like we did this podcast this year, which we launched for the very first
Yeah,
time. We had like what 7 episodes or something, and one of the episodes was Gambhir. I was only one editing when all was done. I was making those clips to push it out. Then one of the questions that was asked was Messi and Ronaldo. So he mentioned in that thing, you asked me the right question.
yeah,
Then I asked, who is better? You can't give me an option, which is a fair point. But sometimes, I mean, if someone asks you a certain question, Messi or Ronaldo, if they are the goat, you just answer it like, yeah, that's the case. But yeah, from a Gambhir perspective, that was a fair point as well. Ki, who do you like amongst them? Then he answered that as Ronaldo, and that clip got what 23 million views or something. Because we had just decided that this will be the day. We had started with the tweet, Messi or Ronaldo. There were a lot of plans that we were doing. But yeah, I mean, Gambhir, from what I've seen, haven't got much to interact with him. But he mentioned that 11:30 in the night is when he turns off his phone. He wakes up early. He just is focused towards his work. It is all that he mentions that he always has a game face. Okay, he mentions in his podcast as well. What's the problem if I have a game face? I will be aggressive on the field. Off the field is exactly opposite. If you look at some of the interviews with some of the players, they have said he's opposite man. He's not aggressive. He's just kind-hearted. He can just you can approach him, talk to him. He just
interesting.
sit in the corner. He just sit in the corner, have his lunch, he'll have his breakfast. He'll be with his manager, and then he'll go. You won't see him like the other players too excited, and just he'll take his walk to the room. He'll come up, and then whenever there are team meetings, he'll be the one coming up at the start. He'll be the one hosting it, and he'll be the one making sure everything that is going right has to just get better, and everything that is not getting better, how can we fix it? So he always tries to find a solution, and winning players also. He has developed a culture like if you have watched some of our videos, then everyone will be treated equally. There's no number one or number 11, and then basis that we'll decide which is the best team for us. So I mean, yeah,
Very
he's just so
Do
much
you
good with
feel
his.
do you feel that he's going to become the coach of India, going ahead and be he's going to bring that mentality? मैं comments देखा काफी जोसे मरीनियो वाला special one mentality. क्या लगता है क्या होने वाला
Absolutely, absolutely. I think he's going to be a success, and the way we have just ended with Rahul Dravid, this era is going to be more exciting, is what I feel.
है?
Because
Can't wait.
the talent that we have already coming, it's so difficult. It's like choosing a France or an England football
Yeah,
team. You don't know which are 11 players or 15 players to pick. Every time you pick a certain squad of 15 players, and then there'll be questions, isko kyun nahi liya, usko kyun nahi liya. That is going to happen much more in the coming years with what there's there are going to be like in the next 7 years, 9 ICC tournaments, nine
yeah,
ICC tournaments. So, I mean, what a perfect path for Gummy to start with. Obviously, initially it is going to be like what 3 or 4 year contract, and then basis how things go, BCCI will renew it. But yeah, with all that said, with all the coaches that were offered the jobs, I think Justin Langer, Ricky Ponting was approached. Everyone has said that it's a very tough job. Whatever pressure you have in IPL, KL Rahul said that it's 10 it's 1,000 times managing an Indian team versus managing an IPL team. But Gambhir being an Indian and Gambhir having that mentality, like people are mentioning,
yeah,
Jose Mourinho, one, I think it is going to be a good one. It's just that players also need to cooperate. I mean, you just can't have egos in the team. Like multiple players might say, I'm not comfortable with Gambhir. Like we have heard those stories in the past
yeah,
once when we had Kumble's, Ravi Shastri's, and people stepped down because it's a different
yeah.
ball game altogether. So if he can control that thing, if he can control those few set of players, and he can just have that balance in who to get at what time, and obviously with Gambhir coming in, we can see a much dynamic squad when it comes to Test, T20, and One Day. You will see probably you even see three different captains. You could see young players in the T20s. You can see so much experimenting happening, and ultimately the aim will always be to go on to win a particular series. I mean, he won't look at it. I personally, he won't look at it at like ICC tournament के लिए हम कैसे तैयारी करें. He will look at it what is happening in the next 3 4 months. What tours are we doing? He'll look at it like that, and then he'll go on to like ICC World Test Championship, फिर Champions Trophy, and then there's the T20 World Cup. So
Yeah.
that's how the building blocks will be done. But yeah, I mean, he's fantastic choice for Indian team. I just hope that he goes there and he succeeds. I mean, in case if he doesn't, let's say 2 or 3 years down the line, things haven't gone better for us. Probably an Australian or South African team just blossoms out of somewhere and they do better. Then that graph of Gambhir might just go down. But I'm just hoping that
नहीं
doesn't.
भाई मेरे को
गंभीर को
PTSD थी
तो
इसकी
देखना ही है.
ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, he's that person. Like everyone thinks कि जहाँ पे भी गंभीर है, the teams have always performed, and now he is getting a job which is the most difficult job, coach of the Indian
Yeah,
team. So
yeah,
the best person with the best team, like that's some job. Like there's nothing about that.
makes sense.
So
Makes sense.
Gambhir coming to India and clicking has to be there, and they will sort of. I think once he gets in there, he'll probably get more control. I feel compared to what previous coaches have had, he'll have choices in not just selection, in everything. Like this is how I wanted to shape. This is where I want our team to take rest. Everything he'll get into everything, and then individually also he's going to help us because he's always said that you know if 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 you want to talk to me or any of the coaches in the setup, I'm always approachable. You can just come in and I'm only going to help you. That's how the thing is. So he's definitely not the person that people have known ki he's too much aggressive or he just talks too much about ek chhakke nahi jita hai and all those things. It's not like that. Whatever he talks is fair enough. If you can watch some of the podcasts that we have done with him and then one with Ashwin, he talks on point and ultimately what he cares most importantly is for the benefit of his team that he is coaching. So he
Yeah,
cared about LSG, cared about KKR, and now with him going to the Indian team soon, he's only going to care about the welfare of the Indian team. So if he has to take some harsh decisions, like probably like Kohli and Rohit have obviously
yeah,
retired,
they're
but if
very
he has to
close.
take that harsh decision कि मेरे को one day team में इनको नहीं लेना है, probably he'll be in that state to take that decision.
Perfect, perfect. So Shubham, we'll take a few questions from
Yeah,
everyone who's there, and then we'll wrap the stream. Uh,
perfect.
Chelsea का क्या expectations है? Is it too soon right now?
Eh, what's the question? Is it like just Chelsea का क्या expectations है? Yeah, I would say
Or expectations from Chelsea? Is it too soon?
expectations. See, a few years back, if you would have said कि fans were complaining कि players sign नहीं कर रहे. Now तो we are just at the bottom, at the top of everything. We are signing as many players. We are linked with every other player. You will see Twitter पे comments like, why is Chelsea linked with every player? If you go Fabrizio's, if you look at Fabrizio's handle, then it's all Chelsea. Some of the other third or fourth tweet is Chelsea. Then there will be one Manchester United, third or fourth Chelsea, one Arsenal, one of Serie A, one of Real Madrid. So yeah, I mean, transfer wise, though, I would say some of the recruits were really good, Enzo and Casedo. But I think the way the club is going towards, I still feel that we are doing too much. We are investing too much into youth. We don't want to. We're trying to be in that Dortmund and Leipzig zone, probably somewhere above them. Because few years down the line, we know probably Palmers of the world, and now just Esteban Willian, who we signed, is considered as one of the best players. So we don't want to be in that. We should focus on. I think we should focus on having some young, some experienced players in the squad. Now, if you look at Chelsea, we just Raheem Sterling, the who is the experienced, he's like 29 years old, and
Yeah,
then
बाकी से
experienced
youngsters.
centre back is Toshin Adiraba, who's just had a good season with Fulham. He's 26, 27. I mean,
Yeah,
last year with Thiago Silva in the team, in the history of Premier League, the average age of the team was 23 and a half, the
yeah,
youngest Premier League squad. I mean, You just can't be too young. Obviously, I'm not asking you buy players in the early 30s, but yeah, we need some proven players. And what better than signing a striker? We know we lack in front of goal. Jackson wasn't firing, even though he did well in his previous year in Villarreal. He was good carrier of the ball, but having those fixing those spots with the striker, you can get an Osinham, you can probably sign one defender like everyone was mentioning. Khalifil, yes, he is young, but he's promising. So instead of having just those young talents pitching in and then thinking what will happen in 25, 26, let's look at what is going to happen this season. And that's what I'll like about Gautam Gambhir. He always says, "Ki look at this season. What are you going to do with this IPL team in this season? Not what is happening 2 years down the line. Let's focus on what is there in our hand. Now we have a very good squad, so let's have those one or two players who we are sure about they will start instead of having those 18 and 19 years and then loaning them out and thinking one of them has to click. One of them,
Yeah,
Palmer came out of nowhere and he performed. What if he wouldn't
yeah,
have
yeah,
performed? We would have finished outside of top 10. Was anyone
100%.
expecting Palmer? People are like we were people like Palmer was signed from Man City. He didn't even play well for them, and you have signed him as a replacement for Mount. You are going down the line, but it just turned opposite. Palmer went up
Opposite.
and Mount went down. So that's how it's going to be. And with football getting more competitive every year, every lower ranked team is going to get better only, and all the top teams have to keep on challenging. Like if you see
Correct.
the Guardiola's team, they just try to get better every year. They signed Haaland 2 years back. Then they want to put in one more. The Savio was signed yesterday. There was
Yeah,
a here we go from February. So they will just try to get better. Fix those spots where you need players, and Chelsea definitely needs a striker. I would even say a good goalkeeper. I'm surprised we are not playing with some top ones. So you fix those couple of positions, and then you have some great talent. Enzo Casedo, Palmer, Santos. Just you can talk about the names. So let's fix those one or two positions with experienced players, and then the team will blossom.
makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. I think मेरे हिसाब से तो it's way too soon. अभी transfer market just खुला है तो it maybe by August we'll have a fair idea what to expect and what would be the expectation of the board and the fans where Chelsea will finish and how they will do. Enzo, yeah, Enzo, obviously, क्या लगता है जो
Definitely not
obviously,
a fraud, man. A great
yeah,
player.
definitely not. Yeah.
I mean, it's just. I mean, I'm not sure about how Enzo Maresca is going to set up. Everyone says he's in that zone of Guardiola, tactical football, possession based. Okay, but what about the players that we have, Noni Madueke, Mudrik, and all these players? How are they going to click in the possession based football? So Enzo, I mean, it all depends how he will play because he's always said he's better number 8 and as a number 10. But people are expecting him to be in that double pivot role with Casedo, just like he
Yeah,
played last season. But it all depends on what tactics Enzo Maresca is playing. But whatever he said, he's a great player and he'll be an important part of this squad.
makes sense. One last question. I think ये मेरे लिए question है. Your thoughts on UA signing Kefram Turan from Nice? Very good signing, yeah. Very highly rated youngster, son of Lilian Thuram, brother of Marcus Thuram. UA तो अपना midfield को काफी dynamic कर रही है because they already have Rabiot, they have Locatelli, they signed Douglas Lewis, अभी कैपराम थुराम आ रहा है, मोस्टली कुक माइनस भी आने वाला है, तो यूए का midfield is going to be very incredible. Good signing for them. Really excited to see both the Thuram brothers
And
back in.
obviously new coach coming in. That's
Thiago
going
Motta
to
has
be
come in,
Diego
so
Mota coming in.
it's going to be and he the way that he set Bologna up last season. I think these midfielders are a way big step up for him. So it's going to be very interesting to see UA play a very different kind of football. जो Max Allegri के अंडर जो last 2 साल खराब बॉल देगा UA fans हैं, it's going to be very different to that. Last question I think for the stream before we wrap up, Shubham तेरे लिए Kendry, who was he
Kendry
talking
Paez.
about?
Kendry Paez, yeah.
Okay.
So Kendry Paez is he's part of the Ecuador squad. Like I mentioned, there are two star players in that. So when you put the likes of Yamal, when you put the likes of who's the other one, Hendrick, there's third person who comes in, Estevao Willian, who we just signed a week back, and after that in the next generation is Kendry Pass. He's just what 16 or 17. He's part of that
Okay.
squad and he's scoring some great goals. He's having great games. So Kendry Pass is a starter for national team at 16, 17. He's doing great. So I mean, yeah, that's still 20, 25, 26. Him coming, he won't be part of the squad because officially, once you're 18, you get to be a part of the
Yeah.
official
Yeah.
squad and you sign the professional contract. So Esteban Willian and Kendry Paz are going to be in Chelsea from next season onwards. So this season is still where we need to fix. I mean, once they get in, obviously it's not going to be the Esteban Willian plays on one wing and Kendry Paz and they start firing and score 20 goals. It's going to take some time. They're not in a Real Madrid squad where you just put one person in that team, you put Modric's of the world aside and they start firing. So it's going to take time. But yeah, he's a promising talent, man. I mean, what I mean, from nowhere we just managed to like everyone talks about Hendrick, but I would say Chelsea managed to sign two players for one, Kendry Pyers and Esteban Willian, who are going to be great ones. And in the next 4 5 years down the line, definitely the Madrids of the world are going to come calling for them. So yeah, I mean that recruiting in that young zone under Todd Bowley under the new regime has been great. But what about those experienced players? I mean, overall, I would still say
Yeah.
it was the Abramovich era that we as Chelsea fans definitely love because it was trophies, it was experienced players, it was people getting attractive. Now, for you to attract the top players, you need Champions League football, and where is that?
Yeah.
We don't have it. We have Europe Conference League. Just can't be. I mean, with the help of Palmer, we just managed to finish sixth, and then United pipping Man City in the FA Cup. We even lost that Europa League spot. So
Yeah.
there needs to be those couple of players that need to come in and Kendry is definitely going to be there but it's too soon for him as of now.
By Suha. So Calafiori was playing in FC Basel. We spoke about Calafiori. You can go back and
Yeah, to Basel, yeah,
watch it,
great.
or you can watch the video on my channel about Calafiori as well. But I think that's about it for today's live chill stream.
Perfect.
Thanks, Shubham. Thanks for coming, and thanks to everybody who's tuned in. सारे कमेंट्स हमने मोस्टली कवर किए तो थैंक यू सो मच. चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करो, कंटेंट आता रहेगा. शुभम के सोशल मीडिया इंस्टाग्राम ट्विटर में जाके उसको फॉलो करो. He will be posting updates about, you know, he's a sports fan, man. So football, cricket, you find everything on his timeline.
Okay.
Go and follow Shubham on Instagram, man. Thanks so much for coming, bhai. Your
Thanks, man.
final thoughts.
First one, it was the first one but I hope there's going to be many more with a lot of
Hundred
different
percent,
colleges.
hundred
It's going to
percent,
be so much fun.
100%. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming.
Perfect.
Good night.
Perfect. Right.